Hello class. In this video lecture we're going to take what we learned in the previous two modules about attitudes and perceptions and apply it to the workplace. Specifically we're going to be looking at those positive employee workplace behaviors that as a manager we're trying to achieve. So as we go through this lecture, keep in mind there's really only a few things that we can measure within an organization to really try to get a good feel if our employees are happy, if they're being productive, if they enjoy coming to work, and if they plan on continuing to stay with the organization and come to work. Those are the workplace attitudes and behaviors we're going to examine in this video lecture, and it's really what everybody who studies organizations, researchers who study organizations, and even managers and supervisors in organizations, it's what they look at to get a good feel of how they're treating their employees and if they feel like their employees are going to perform in the workplace. So let's start by talking about employee engagement, and that's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's how engaged, how involved are the workers at work. Do they show enthusiasm for work, or are they just going to work and pretty much going through the motions? Engaged employees feel urgency, intensity, and enthusiasm, as well as focus, making them more committed. So there's a lot going on right there, right? So they have a feeling of urgency. We have to get something done. We have to make progress. We have to keep pushing forward. That's a sense of urgency. A lot of times, you know, if you have employees come to work and say, well, let me just do my job. When I get it done, I get it done. That could be problematic, right? We don't need to completely stress employees out, obviously, and put unfair time frames on them for getting jobs done, but there needs to be a sense of urgency. And hopefully that sense of urgency is coming from within the employees, and that intensity and enthusiasm for work. Employees more likely to become engaged when a culture promotes employee development, recognition, and trust. And these are some things we're really going to talk about when we get into the chapter on motivation. But you know, employees, we oftentimes we talk about pay. We talk about some of these things that don't necessarily improve engagement or improve morale. However, what has shown to improve those things, an opportunity for development. Employees want to continue to sharpen their skills and get better and better with their place of employment, and opportunities for development certainly does that. Recognition, achievement, saying, hey, nice job, great job with this project, nice job meeting your goals, with your productivity, with your performance. Employees like it. They like to be recognized. And certainly trust. Trust is a big word when we're studying organizations. You want to trust the leadership. You want to trust that decisions are being made in the best interest of the organization. So if all those things are present, you have engaged employees. Job satisfaction is the second one. That's huge, because job satisfaction, look at the bottom of that slide, correlates to stronger motivation, more job involvement, life satisfaction. It negatively correlates to, which is good, to less absenteeism, to less tardiness, to less turnover, and less stress. So those things are what we're looking for, and we could kind of make the assumption that if we have employees that have high job satisfaction, there's going to be less tardiness, there's going to be less turnover, there's going to be less stress in the organization. So we're looking for that satisfied employee, and it's the extent to which you feel positively or negatively about various aspects of your work. So again, there's that feeling and emotion, right? How do you feel? What affect do you have towards your organization? And it depends on how you feel about several components, such as the work itself. Is the work rewarding? The pay, the opportunities for promotion. How do you feel about your coworkers and your supervisors? All of those things feed into are you satisfied at the work? And again, when we get to the chapter on motivation, we're going to talk a lot about these things, especially with people like Frederick Hertzberg and some of those individuals that study motivation. Organizational commitment reflects the extent to which an employee identifies with the organization and is committed to its goal. So way back when we talked about the values of the organization, the culture of the organization, kind of the moral foundation, the moral compass of the organization. If employees can identify with the organization, they feel like they and the organization itself are on the same page in terms of those things, there's going to be more commitment to the organization. There's a positive relationship between organizational commitment and job satisfaction, better performance, less turnover, and organizational citizenship behavior, which we'll talk about shortly. So again, all of those things are positive. If I have employees who exhibit high organizational commitment, I'm going to have better performance and less turnover. When you're evaluating the performance of employees, you should include, of course, their performance and productivity, right? So again, sometimes these are a little harder to, you can't just say, okay, based on your performance, you are going to get a raise or you're not going to get a raise, right? So there's a lot of things that play into the performance, including the process itself, how well the organization is running, but it should certainly be one component. Absenteeism and turnover. We want employees who are showing up to work, and we want employees who are committed, because it's very expensive to replace employees. You have to find them, you have to train them. You're not always quite sure how they're going to work out. So if I have employees who are productive, I want to keep them, and I want to make sure that they're not absent or tardy. There's organizational citizenship behavior again, and organizational citizenship behavior is the extent to which an employee goes above and beyond what their job duties are. So I would have a list of job duties, things that I do as it relates to my job title. The things I do above and beyond that aren't part of that job title is considered organizational citizenship behavior. So you want employees who are engaged in other activities of the organization that aren't necessarily part of their job description. Again, as long as it doesn't interfere with what their actual job is. So maybe doing some things after hours, promoting the company somehow after hours, or being involved in certain committee work or other oversight or policy work. That's citizenship behavior, and that's what you're looking for in employees. And you certainly want to be aware of counterproductive work behaviors of employees too, right? So you want to make sure that they're not speaking ill of the company or engaging in some counterproductive, so maybe coworkers aren't looking as good, or gossip or things like that. Those are all counterproductive type work behaviors. And if you look at all four of these things together when you're evaluating employees' behaviors in the workplace, it really paints a nice picture of what the employee is. Okay, so that's our quick video lecture on workplace attitudes and behaviors. And again, these are the things that researchers study. These are the things that leaders and managers in the organization look to improve in order to contribute to that bottom line. So organizational commitment, job satisfaction, citizenship behavior, all of those things are good, and those are the things we want to focus on when we're trying to find a satisfied employee.